Uh, so we've got Lowen's Rip Shad. It's a topwater bait, and this is kind of a interesting bait for a lot of reasons. Bill, can you tell us a little bit about this and what made you want this style bait?
Well, this came about for me as I wanted a more what I call a subtle type topwater bait. So many topwater baits are, walk the dog, splashing, popping, carrying on. I wanted something that was more subtle. I think as growing up as a kid, everybody threw a tiny torpedo. It was a fish catcher, whether you ripped it on the top or just wound it in like a buzz bait. And that's basically kind of what you got here is what I'm going to call a high performance torpedo. You know what I mean? If you rip this, as you can see, it's got two props on the back. And what that actually does is those two props will actually clank and bang against each other and throw water, almost like a traditional prop style type bait, like a prop bait. Or if you want to throw this out and wind it, or, a lot of times when you see fish in the jumps or schooling, you'll see those bait fish, whether they're shad or blueback herring, you'll see them jumping and darting and running. And that's kind of what I wanted here, something that would imitate that without having a big commotion. So if you just throw this out there and start winding it across the top, one, you'll get the blades kicking and carrying on. And then the body's got a little shimmy roll to it. Almost looks like like I said, a gizzard shad or a blueback herring trying to get away. And that's what I wanted. I just wanted something that was more natural and more subtle. And that's exactly what you get with the Rip Shad.
Yeah, and it seems like to me when I threw it last fall a lot, the faster you wind it, the better they eat it.
Right, because it just gets real darting and erratic on top of the surface. Really easy bait to fish. I mean, it ain't like you're trying to walk the dog or anything with it. It's a bait that I don't think we've seen the full capability of it just because, we don't necessarily around here where we're at, we don't get a lot of fish that are schooling and things like that. But on your blueback herring lakes or lakes that get a lot of topwater pressure, I think this is going to excel. And I also think it's going to excel in the springtime around that spawn time when we're using traditional style prop baits, And I'm not sure what colors you guys are carrying there, but it'll be in all the traditional fish catching colors, the bluegill patterns and things like that. Like I said, we just wanted a nice, subtle bait fish profile topwater, and that's exactly what you get with this bait.
Interesting. There's there's been so many different topwater baits, different varieties that coming up with something unique is tough. But this is a really interesting schooling fish bait, and I think some other good applications. Hey, before we move on, we do have a question for Bill. Jordan asks, what's your favorite river crankbait, specifically for Ohio, but maybe you could talk about that generally.
There's typically for me, it's hard to say what is my favorite because you need two crankbaits when you go to the Ohio. We'll just use the Ohio River, for example. You need some type of a square bill and you need some type of a flat bait. So if I had to pick, and we're actually going to be talking about one of those here in just a second, is the IMA square bill because it's a bait that was designed that runs shallow, 3 foot or less. One of the little hunters or something from PH Custom Lures, and there's a lot of small square bill crankbaits that PH Custom Lures builds. And then the other is going to be some type of a flat bait, whether that be a dollar bill or the new Hickey P. Definitely, I wouldn't go to the river without having a square bill of some sort and a flat bait.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that feedback. Before we move on to IMA, I just wanted to mention that all those baits are available for pre-order on the site. We'll look forward to trying those out. I know I'm excited to pick up a couple myself.